There's something strange about faith. The older I grow, the less I think faith is about asking for things and more about presence. About feeling guided in moments where logic alone shouldn't have been enough. About finding stillness in the middle of chaos. And for me, that feeling has somehow always been connected to Shiva, or as most of us lovingly call him, Mahadev. Hi, I'm Sarthak. I'm a filmmaker and I run a production company called Mahakaal Productions. And before I begin sharing stories from my life, the shoots, the films, the people, the experiences that shaped me, I felt it was important to begin with the one thing that quietly exists underneath all of it: faith. The older I grow, the more I realize faith is less about asking and more about feeling accompanied through life. I started Mahakaal Productions back in 2016, but honestly, the name existed in my heart long before the company itself did. Back in college, at a time when life felt uncertain, dreams felt unrealistically large, and the only thing stronger than fear was belief. And people still ask me this sometimes. In an industry where everybody chooses sleek, modern, international sounding names, why Mahakaal? And honestly, my mind always goes back to one particular memory. A senior from college, someone I used to perform nukkad nataks with, once said a line to me: "Akal mrityu wo mare jo kaam kare chandal ka, kaal uska kya kare jo bhakt ho Mahakaal ka." And for some reason, that line stayed with me. Not just as poetry, as protection. At that age, when you're trying to build a future for yourself, you're carrying fear all the time. Fear of failure, fear of uncertainty, fear of not becoming who you hoped you would become. And somewhere, that line gave me a strange sense of surrender. Almost like saying, you don't have to carry everything alone anymore. Sometimes one sentence enters your life quietly and slowly becomes part of your identity. And maybe that's why naming the company Mahakaal Productions never really felt like branding to me. It felt personal, spiritual even, almost like handing over the steering wheel of my life to something larger than myself. And strangely, ever since then, I've kept experiencing moments that feel difficult to explain rationally. Because somehow, around many important shoots in my life, there's almost always been a Shiva temple nearby. And after a point, it stopped feeling accidental. Before a major shoot in Aurangabad, I visited the Kailasa temple at Ellora. And I still remember standing there before the project began, feeling this strange calmness, like the noise inside my head had temporarily paused. Then, before another shoot in Bhubaneswar, there was Lingaraj temple. And last year, while filming in Dungarpur for an international organization, we randomly discovered the centuries-old Hazareshwar Mahadev temple and Vaneshwar Mahadev temple just minutes away from where we were staying. And these moments just keep happening, again and again. I don't know if faith is something you search for, or something that quietly keeps finding you throughout life. The funny thing about filmmaking is, from the outside it looks glamorous, but internally it's chaos. Pressure, deadlines, creative exhaustion, responsibility, constant uncertainty. And somewhere between all of that, these places slowly become pauses for me. Moments of silence before noise, stillness before movement. And maybe that's also why Shiva resonates so deeply with artists, because Shiva represents both creation and destruction simultaneously. The destruction of ego, fear, comfort, older versions of yourself, so something new can emerge. And honestly, I think every artist experiences that cycle constantly. Creation is uncomfortable by nature. To create something meaningful, some part of you always has to transform first. As I begin this new chapter now, sharing stories about filmmaking, travel, people, art, cinema, the experiences that shaped me, it only felt right to begin here. with surrender, with trust, with stillness, with Nataraj, the cosmic dancer, the source of rhythm, movement, and artistic energy itself. So, yeah, this is where the journey begins. Om Namah Shivaya.